Even the whole society's helicoptered, man. Like,
Dude, we helicopter ourselves.
I know.
Right. And we limit, like, that's the whole protectionism, right? So we've been taught, we teach ourselves, like, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That's just a level of protectionism, man. You should be hoping for the best and preparing for the best. That is, preparing for the best is the number one form of visualization. You first have to see it in your mind before you see it in your life, right? Whether that be good or bad. If you can use this for your good, that means you got to visualize it. Yet we don't do that. Like, the way I look at it is, like, if it's raining outside, bring a fucking umbrella. Prepare for the worst, right? But for every other thing, when it comes to everything you ever want to achieve, you have to prepare for the best. You have to accept that it's going to actually be coming. And then, of course, hope for it as well. And we've helicoptered ourselves being like, I don't know. I need to protect myself. What if that doesn't happen? What if this relationship doesn't really work? What if they really don't love me? What if my boss really does fire me? What if the economy does crash? What if Bitcoin goes down again? What if blah, blah, blah?
Good. Please go
right?
down.
We all buy in, right? But it's all that shit that we've conditioned ourselves to protect ourselves, right? The what ifs of everything going wrong is the same thing as a helicopter parent, right? Like, I got to make sure, I got to protect every angle that they don't get hurt. I got to hover over them to make sure that they're capable. It's funny. I ask parents, what's the number one thing that you want your child to become? They always say, I want them to become an independent thinker. I think we use this term without even knowing what it means.
What it means, yes.
Right? Independently thinking means I won't conform. Irrespective of what my parents think or what society thinks or what my teachers think, I'm not going to conform. I'm going to listen to my intuition, to my heart, and go for that. Yet, if you're hovering over them, watching every step, and then guiding them accordingly, they'll never become an independent thinker. And if we do that to ourselves, we'll never independently think. We don't understand. We have the capacity of limiting ourselves so much, but we also have the capacity of removing all our limitations. But we have to first be aware that we've imposed these on ourselves.
Of course we have.
Yeah.
Everyone falls into the hedonic treadmill too, right? And then, Aesop's fable with the fox and the sour grapes. And so, the story is the fox tries to get these grapes, eventually fails, and makes a narrative in his mind that these grapes are sour.
Yeah.
Right. To justify the fact that he failed. And so people are always justifying, why they haven't achieved their XYZ dreams or whatever. And so they always carry these belief system onto others, right? Because if they can't do it, how can possibly Sonny do it? No way. You can't do it, bro. And so it's a vicious cycle, and it perpetuates even worse when you hit the educational system as well. Like, I never finished high school, man. I got kicked out in grade 9. I remember I was like 14, 15, starting grade 9. And I remember the guidance counselor reaming me about something. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm making more money than all you guys. What the fuck do I need this shit for? And they kicked me out and never looked back. And I barely passed elementary school. And so when I look at all these like systems, I'm like, how can you sell this to people? It doesn't work. Like, you're actually selling the story of like, just fall in line and finish this degree and magic things are going to happen to you. Are you really selling that story?
I've never ever met somebody who ever just followed a linear pathway to success. Never. I've never met somebody who said, I did well in high school, so I got in my university of my choice. So then I got my master's program. So then I got my dream job, and then I had the best life of ever. No. It's riddled with insecurities because we listen to everybody else on what was right. Every time that we listen to our intuition, it's completely illogical, but the only logical thing to do is to listen to your intuition, whether that be drop out of school.
That's what Aristotle said.
Did he?
Of course,
wow.
yeah.
I didn't even think I was quoting Aristotle.
There you go.
I thought it was a Sonny Brim original. But in that, I think we have to like remember that it's not even that success is like this up and down, backwards way of achieving something. I think we have to just remember that nothing is linear. Nothing. Crazy cool shit, opportunities happen to you in moments that you could never even imagine, right? It's like you get halfway met by the universe in some like beautiful mystical way that you're like, shit, I didn't even expect this thing to happen. And it happens, right? And that's like every single success story. That's when like somebody's like, yeah, I got really lucky. Right? Yes, some cool shit happened that you could never predict. That's how we define luck. It's like, I had no idea this shit was going to happen, other than the feeling of that something good was coming, right? Like that feeling of like, hey, something good is coming. I'm putting my time, I'm putting my energy, right? And sometimes that feeling something good is coming is dropping out of school. And many times it is. Like, I mean, it's funny because like, I was talking to a parent the other day telling me like, they want their kids to be like, they want them going to technology, like to computer sciences, because they want them to start a big tech firm. And then I was like, so why do they have to go to school, right? Because the kid's like, I don't need to go to school. And they're like, well, you got to go to school. You got to get your dream. I'm like, I'm going to politely interrupt, but Bill Gates dropped out. Zuckerberg dropped out. Jobs never went. If you're talking about like tech icons that you want your kid to go, to me, it almost makes more sense that they don't go. I mean, if you want to talk about the statistics of success with the money behind it, this is probably more likely that if they go this route, this is another opportunity. And so most people, like, we've been so conditioned to think that there's one way and only one way. Man, think about the pressure. Right now, if you fucking don't get a decent mark in grade 12, like, you're told your life is over. You're told your life is over. That's fucking crazy. You're like 16, 17 years old and you're like, you're fucked. You're fucked. You just fucked up everything, right? This is crazy shit. You're not fucked. You can always go back. You can drop out. You can still do great things. But we have told people that you are fucked. And I see this. I see, man, like the amount of parents that tell me, the number one symptom that parents say, they don't sleep anymore. They don't sleep anymore. They're always stressed. They're always crying. Yeah. Because we fed them, I don't know if the parents did, but I know society's fed them a narrative that they're fucked, right? You don't do well in grade 12, you're fucked. What school's going to accept you? That emptiness, that feeling? The one thing that I realized, the biggest insecurity in this world is not belonging, right? You feel like you don't belong. What are we telling people when we're saying, well, we need to help our kids, we need to help our society, we need to help our adults feel like they belong? Then let's stop fucking creating exclusivity. Let's stop telling people they're fucked if they don't do A, B plus C. Because this constant narrative that we fed each other, like we fed it to each other to justify our own shitty fucking actions, is a problem that we all have to now live by. And we don't understand that we impose this year after year, generation after generation, hoping that it's going to somehow justify what we've done with our lives. It never does, right? That's why, why people are attracted to entrepreneurs now? Not because it's the money, it's because of the freedom. That's what it's like, wow, you get to pick your own schedule?
Yeah, it's called 100-hour work weeks.
Yeah, but when work is love, man, when work is love, right?
Yeah.
Right? But like that's the difference. You get to pick your own schedule? Yeah, I do. Isn't it weirder that you're asking me if I get to pick my own schedule?
The word entrepreneur is funny too. Like I have a good friend of mine, he's, I don't like the word old, he's experienced wisdom, coming up 80s. And, from Europe. And he's like, it's like this word entrepreneur is like, when I was growing up, everybody was that. If you didn't support you and your family, you died. You didn't have food on the table. So this new high of entrepreneurism is just the natural way of living. Like back in the days, like you had to farm, you had to hustle, you had to provide your own crops and cattle, and then maybe you traded that or sold it for some other goods within your village. People didn't grow up, and he didn't grow up in a metropolitan, like maybe a village of like 4,000, and the other village knew people. Everybody was self-sufficient. Everybody was an entrepreneur. And it's hilarious. Like right now, we're going around full circle. That's why you see the gig economy coming up. More and more people are like, well, fuck this 9-to-5 full-time bullshit. It's like, if I can do my little hustle on the side and then focus on what I like to do, why not? Yeah. So like when I view the word entrepreneur, I like to like substitute with like just self-reliant. Yeah. It's like, regardless of what you're doing, how much money you're making, it's still the responsibility is on you. And that's the freedom. The fact that everything's on you. And like I mentioned at the beginning, that is true freedom. Yeah. Then you can sit back and be like, man, I can design whatever the fuck I want to design.
Think about that. Think about that. What a beautiful way to play in life, that everything is on you. Yeah. You get to design your future. You get to use things that happened in your past to construct the future and the reality that you want. That's fucking amazing.